I have no idea what took me so long to do a review of this 2025 Cask Strength 13th Colony Rye. We're going to do it today on the Whiskey Tank. Hey everybody, I'm Joe. Welcome to the Whiskey Tank. I'm glad you stopped by to see what we have on the bar today, and it's a good one. Before we get into that, hey, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do that for me. I'm trying to get 250 subscribers before the end of the year, and I'm surprisingly close. I didn't think I would be this close after just starting the channel a little while ago, but thank you for those of you who have subscribed. And from looking at the analytics and all that good stuff that YouTube provides, it shows that about 80% of people that watch the videos haven't subscribed. So please, it doesn't cost you a nickel, but it helps me out so much. Subscribe to the channel. And also, if you're already on here subscribing, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and like, set the notifications to let you know when I have a new video dropping, and also share this video if you think it's any good with some of your whiskey loving friends. But all that stuff out of the way, let's talk about why you're here today and why I'm here, and that's to review this 13th Colony Cask Strength Rye. I was really excited. Like I was saying, I got a bottle of this initially when it dropped from the distillery, and then I took a trip. My wife brought me down to Louisville for my 50th birthday, and just sitting on the shelf, they had another bottle down there at MSRP. So I paid 99 bucks for each of these bottles that I got, and they are, at least how I remember it. Now, it's been a little while. I tried this in September, and I remember just thinking this is going to be a fun one to do a review on. I got in trying a few other things, and I've just had this on the list for a little while to get to. And being how I really think this may be in the running for Whiskey of the Year, I want to get a review on the books before the year runs out. So that's what we're going to do today. Let's talk a little bit about this whiskey right here. It's bottled at 120 proof. And like I said, the batch is 2025. It's from 13th Colony. It's distilled in Indiana, which you don't have to be too deep in your whiskey journey to know that that means Lawrenceburg, Indiana means that it is from MGP, which is not a bad thing, especially when it comes to rye. From what I understand, this is their 95.5 rye out of MGP. But what I do remember, it doesn't drink like most 95.5s. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that this is aged in Americus, Georgia. So it gets that blistering hot heat that I remember down in Americus, but it also gets some nice cooler weather too that'll pull it in and out of the barrel. What they say about their whiskey is the 13th Colony Cask Strength Rye is their flagship Southern rye recipe, but bottled at their full barrel strength, uncut from it for maximum flavor. Each release of their Cask Strength Rye is its own unique batch with a distinctive proof point and limited in quantities. It's worth drinking slowly. So, all that being said, let's get a little bit of this whiskey in a glass. Oh my goodness, that cork will put up a fight. And again, another company that uses synthetic corks. If you know the struggle is real. If you start getting natural corks, they sometimes break down and screw your whiskey right up. So, but it was a great cork pop, nice tight cork. Let's get a little in the glass. So like I was saying, this is their 95.5 blend from MGP. It's 4 to 6 years old. Don't let that influence you on thinking that it's going to be a good thing or a bad thing, because that age, when you start getting into the southern states when they're making their whiskeys and bourbons, they're aging them down there, they age a little differently. So Texas bourbon ages one way, Mississippi bourbon is another way in whiskey and rye, and Georgia has its own little way that they do things down there. And it's a unique environment that they get out of Americus, Georgia, that they claim is putting some really good whiskeys out for them. Their blenders do a great job. I'm really excited every time I see a new 13th Colony product come out. Their Cask Strength bourbon that I'm going to do a review on too, I thought was pretty good. I want to say that didn't stand out for me anywhere near as much as it stood out to me the first time I tried it. So let's go ahead and get this on the nose. It's been open now, like I said, since September, so for about 3 months. So it's definitely got some time to open up. Let's get this on the nose. So instantly you get baking spices. I get clove in there. Some of your, when I say baking spices, I mean like the stuff that goes into pies and different things like that. Those November type flavors, right? Those Thanksgiving type flavors. I'm getting that, but I'm also getting a strong sweetness coming off from this. There's a beautiful sugar that comes off from this. And there's little hints of vanilla in there too, which for a 95.5 rye, and if I'm wrong in that, somebody please dime me out. Listen, I'm more interested in being correct than I am in being right. Intellectual honesty is very important to me, and it's been that way since as long as I can remember. So if I'm saying something wrong and you know something's different, you're not going to hurt my feelings. Throw it in a comment. I like to learn, but I think it's their 95.5. Okay, so when I say 95.5, what I'm referring to is the mash bill, and that mash bill means that it could be, or it is, 95% rye and 5% malted barley. So there's no corn in this whatsoever, and so getting some of those sweet, sugary smells out of this is really kind of unique, and it's got to be pulled in from the wood is the way I look at it. So ordinarily, like when you're talking about a bourbon or something like that, you're going to have corn influence on it. So that sugary sweetness that comes from corn liquor with a 95.5 rye, which is a very common mash bill that comes out of NPP for their ryes, there's none of that. So that malted barley is adding those sugars in there, because we've talked about it before, but that malting is when you add a little bit of water to the barley and you cause it to kind of start going through using the enzymes to change the sugars or those starches into sugars, and that's creating the stuff that the yeast eat. What the yeast eat when they're making the alcohol and the fermentation process and all this, because science stuff, that's what gives you your flavors in your whiskey. So pulling out some of these really sweet caramel, I'm getting caramel on the nose too, and a little brown sugar smells is kind of cool for a 95.5. Yeah, so there's bacon spices, clove, cinnamon, and caramel too I'm getting off from this. But that's enough of the nose. Let's see how this thing tastes. Let's throw it on the palate. Cheers. Initially, this is 120 proof, 120.7. To me, this drinks under its proof. I don't think it even drinks at its proof. I'm thinking it's drinking 112 maybe, because I get none of the ethanol burn off from it. There is none of the rye up front in the palate either. I get all sweetness. It's like almost like a sugar cookie sweetness that I'm getting off from this, because there's a bread product in there to go along with that sugar, but it's not like a dark sugar. I'm not getting brown sugars on this. There might have been a little on the nose, but I'm not getting that. I'm getting a bright, like a white baking sugar on the initial taste. As it works its way through the palate and back of my tongue, I'm getting some of that rye spice starts coming forward, but it's not heavy, and which is really kind of cool for a 95.5 rye. I'm not getting like inundated with all those dills and spearmints and mints and all that stuff. I'm not getting that. I'm getting a little rye spice on the back of the tongue and on the finish, but it's not heavy in that. It's a nice, surprisingly sweet whiskey. I'm gonna go ahead and get another sip of this, and well, basically, because I'm really enjoying it that much. This is hyper enjoyable. On this sip, there was a little touch of some dark caramel in there too. The first sip, it wasn't there. There was no dark sugars whatsoever. On that second sip, there was, and that was the main flavor I got. And also what I got there, and this is where the age can kind of be misleading. Now, I myself don't like an old rye. Okay, I think rye's kind of peaked between that 7 to 12 years for me so far, and anything and what I've been able to experience so far. So I still don't expect to get a lot of oak on this, and I do. I get sweet oak on the finish on this whiskey too, so that comes to the party as well. So overall, this is a nice layered flavor. It's not the same thing every sip, and for that reason, I've told you guys before on how the whole scoring schedule, or my whole scoring process works, but I'm going to throw it up here on the side so I don't have to go through it with you. This is a whiskey that I am so glad that I bought and then backed it up when I was down in Kentucky, because it is fantastic. This is going to be on a lot of people's lists, I think, for whiskey of the year. And you hear different ages. You hear 4 to 6 and 4 to 7. It depends on who you ask. I think that the actual, if I remember right, the 13th Colony itself put out 4 to 6 years old. But so I hear some other people say 4 to 7. But either way, it's in that what I consider a teen, right? So it's in that middle age group. It's not where it's getting long in the tooth and an older whiskey, and it's definitely not a young whiskey. So being in that age, it packs a lot of flavor, and it brings layers of flavor, and I see why a lot of people are putting this on their short list of whiskey of the year, and at least it's definitely got a place at the table for discussion. For those reasons right there, and for the list that's over here kind of explaining it's going to be in the 80s for me. This is a bottle, like I said, I'm really glad that I bought and then backed it up. I'm going to say this is an 80. It's an 85 for me. It's right in the middle of that group, because I think that some of that youth is still in there. Maybe a couple more years in the barrel. If it got up to that 9-year point, might have just rounded this thing out to where it was a stellar example, and I think they're going to get there with it. So I don't want to kind of like write it off as this is the best thing they're ever going to put out, because I see them even developing more. But keep down this path, because what they're putting out is very solid. If you haven't got a bottle list and you can find a bottle list, especially on MSRP, grab it. You're not going to be upset. And if you don't like it, let me know and I'll buy the dang bottle from you. It's that damn good, because I think this is one that you're going to see a lot of people kind of gravitate towards. So all that being said, solid 85 right here for this whiskey. I think that this is definitely going to be in the running for me for whiskey of the year. Again, I'm remiss that I've let this bottle sit on my shelf for about 3 months and I haven't tried it again, but it has opened up a little bit, so I'm glad that it did have a little time to breathe there. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this bottle. I'm glad that you guys decided to join me today on a Friday and to see this review. And until next time, cheers from the Whiskey Tank.